Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
What do you do with a 350-pound ogre in the room?
You throw him into the pit.
Throw him into the pit.
My name's Paul Zajac.
And I'm Rob Egan.
Welcome to Boss Battles.
This is where we take D&D live play and mash it together with sports commentary.
Kind of. Okay, so this is the second part of our battle called The Pit. And in the first episode, the party was thrown into a pit and they fought and defeated a gibbering mouther. And now the rest of the town of locals is jeering at them from the top of the pit. And we go from there. That's where the action
looks like they want more blood.
Yeah. They ruined the party. They killed Molly, and now they've got an answer for their exploits.
Let's go check it out.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. As you remember from last week, the adventurers had just defeated the gibbering mouther named Molly, and they are still in the pit. There's more for them to overcome, though. So let's get back to the action in the middle of round 3.
Fight. Someone goes, bring out Judy, and they start going, Judy. But you look around and you don't really see who they're referring to. You still have some movement left. Are you going to do anything? Are you going to move?
I'm going to try to scramble up the wall.
Yeah. So. Okay. And you haven't moved at all, right? You just, okay. All right. So you're 25. Do you have a climbing speed or, no?
I do not have a specific climbing speed, 30 feet walking.
Yeah. So you can move 15 feet up the wall. So then you're like on the wall, 10 feet below the surface of the edge there of the pit.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll stop there.
All right. All right. So next, we are going to, so this ogre sees you coming up. Sorry, I'm saying this as if you can read my mind. This ogre, it's his turn, and he goes, "Hey, you there? Stay down in the fight zone. You gotta face the next one." And he starts walking over, rumbling slowly. Okay. And he just reaches about there. He doesn't seem to be like fully trying to come at you. He's just like threatening, and he's swinging this chain around. You better get back down there. And that's the end of his turn. And then it's next up are these two flying bloodsuckers, and they're again going to try and each attack Yakria and Kazni. So Yakria, rolled a 1, so that doesn't work. And Kazni, they got a 16. I think that hits, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Kaz's armor is 16, so
this
needs
thing
to beat it.
Comes at you, and it sticks its proboscis into you, and you take, let's see, 5 points of damage, and it's attached to you. It's not getting off.
Oh boy.
And so in subsequent rounds, unless you do something, you're going to continue to take some damage.
Remember, Kazni is raging, so that damage should be reduced.
Okay. But the good news is that it's now Yakria's turn.
All right.
I will transfer my hunter's mark to the bad mosquito thing that is attached to me.
Okay.
And let's try to kill that dead.
Now, as part of the spell, transfer
Go for
hunter's
it.
mark
18 hits.
That hits,
is
yeah.
part of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So again,
believe that happens as a free action.
Right. That's 8 damage plus.
Say no more. This didn't have that much, damage left in it. Its body explodes and kind of head comes off, there's going to be some cleanup later because the tail end of the proboscis is still inside, but it's not going to cause any further damage. So, well done. Anything else?
No, that's my turn.
You can you have movement if you because you really just shot, so you could move towards the edge of the well I don't need to tell you how to move. Are you going to move?
I'm still on the rope.
You're still on the rope. So are you going to stay there? Okay. Yeah, it seems to be doing good
I
for
like
you.
it here. There's a safe space right above me. It's good here.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If people can see through the actual dimensional space to you, I'm going to say they can't. But I'll have to.
Well, I'm not in the space because they can't attack through it. So I'm just using the rope suspension.
Right. Okay. I'll have to think about that later. Okay. So you're just chilling out on your rope. Next, we're on to.
I think missed an attack
Cosney.
there,
What
but
are you doing?
we can talk about that too.
You've no longer bothered by this parasite.
Disgusting proboscis, though.
Molly
We'll
is dead. Although they're yelling there's somebody's yelling for another creature to come out. So I'm not sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cosney will definitely kind of look up at Yakria and kind of give those little, eyes of thank you. And then we're going to scramble up the wall as quickly as we can.
Okay. Which so choose which wall. You're going there? Okay.
Heading towards this lovely ogre at the top there.
Okay. So what is your you've got extra movement, right? You've got 40 feet of movement.
Yes, I've got 40 feet. Yep.
So it's like 5 to the edge, and then you'd have 35 feet. So basically you can go up 17 and a half feet. you're up, but you can't reach the top.
Well, let's not forget though that
Dissonant
is
the in front of me.
tabaxi.
Yeah, which provides an climb speed.
Okay. Anything else?
That's right. Easy to miss.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. All right. That brings us to the end of the round. Why don't we take a momentary break, and we'll see if the commentators have noticed anything that I haven't, and then we'll come back.
All right, and we're back, and a few things have happened since Molly Mather died. It seems to be that things are starting to heat up in this pit. So, Julia, where do you want to focus on?
Yeah. Cosme just had a great turn as a ranger, or Yakria ranger. Great turn.
Yep.
Distinction on Hunter's Mark, which I said earlier is a free action. Actually, just looked it up. It's a bonus action to move the target, but still a great use of the spell because you don't have to recast it.
Right, for like spell conservation, for conserving spell slots. You're right, absolutely. It's not another casting, so
yeah,
very helpful.
So that's awesome. Interesting comment on the rope trick. I think it's a really interesting thing to try and rule because I've always imagined rope trick as being like a horizontal or like a vertical with the rope coming down off of it. So I think it could go a lot of different ways of seeing if, you can see through it or if it's safe or not. What are some of your opinions?
Yeah, so this is the one that I always kind of imagine would be used outside of battle. So I first off think it is very creative to use it right now inside battle, as we had mentioned earlier. And as far as being able to see through it, it says in the spell that attacks and spells can't cross through the space. But I believe it also says that you can see through, but no one can see in. If I have to look at the spell again. Either way, in this case, I would make a ruling and then say, let me look it up, and I'll get back to you. I think that's like they said, to keep it moving. What would you do in this case?
I agree. I think it's definitely one of those cases where it's a good one to say, for now, let's rule it this way and move on, especially since it's such a creative use of the spell in combat. I'm willing to reward something like that. Like, trying things out is great, and we can figure out all the futzy rule difficulties after. And I think it's a really good, just go with it for now, and we can always figure it out after.
Yes. And then if there's something in there that might seem that it's like game breaking, then you could just say, well, going forward, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
What about Yakria? Yakria did the attack. Looked like she might have missed one of her attacks.
Yes. I think it's one of those issues with bonus action, remembering all your action economy. So definitely an easy thing to lose in the middle
Yes.
of all the crazy.
Yes, and also another thing too is I think as Ranger 5, what had happened was she's using a hand crossbow. Normally you wouldn't be able to multi-attack with it because you'd have that loading property, but then the crossbow expert allows you to ignore that. So again, there's many layers of rules where these things are easy to miss, especially with like one shots and such. With our players who are not familiar with their characters.
Definitely. Even if it's a common character you play, I think it's very easy to remember all the like specific rules that trump the general category of you can't, shoot twice with your crossbow except for when you can. And so there's a lot of moving parts, especially with classes like rangers. So very easy to miss and definitely a thing.
Yes, and again, another thing that was easy to miss. I know that I mentioned it briefly, and you saw it too. Was Cosney being able to climb up out of the wall? Paul had made it difficult terrain, though. Tabaxi, they get that climbing speed again as another one of those racial features.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to miss racial features. I think we've seen a lot of really good uses of racial features in this battle so far, but there's, especially as you said with one-shot characters, it can be really difficult to pull all the different pieces together. So super easy to miss.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was the rest of the round of round 3. Any thoughts before we get back to the battle?
I'm definitely excited to see it come up to the top, and I want to see them engage with the ogres now. I think it's going to be a really interesting level change compared to the Gibbering Mouther.
Yes, again, having multiple layers of monsters, I think this is a great battle for that. So yeah, let's move on to round 4 and see what happens with that ogre.
Fight. Okay, we're back. Top of the round. Brandon as Istra. What are you gonna do?
All right.
You're halfway. You're like 10 feet below the top, right? As I remember.
No, that was Selk that was doing the climb.
Okay, I thought you were climbing up. Okay, Selk, right? Okay, all right. So you're still at the bottom of the.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, because you got the gibbering mouther had effectively kind of frozen you out from doing something last round. Okay.
Yeah, it stuck me in a little bit of a stupor there. What I would like to do is I'd like to move about 15 feet out this way so that I can see up to Frank Bishop and the very easternmost kobold I'd like to try to take a shot at with my short bow.
Yeah, remember all these guys have got because they're inside that thing. They've got 3/4 cover, so they get a +5.
Oh, never mind. We're just going to go for the machine then. I didn't realize the kobolds were inside.
Yeah, it's hard to represent, but yeah, they're all inside the armored defense of the ogre, so they're all riding up top. So you can get the ogre though.
All right, let's see if we can get something on that. So we're going to take a shot at that with the short bow, and let's see what we get.
Okay.
So we rolled a 21.
Yeah, that hits.
All right.
Good hit.
And let's see what our damage is going to be. That's for 8 damage.
Nice. Okay, so that's the second hit on him.
Yep. And I'm going to use the last 15 feet of my movement. I want to come back up against the wall here because I'm assuming with a 25-foot or so wall that they can no longer see me when I'm right up against it.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's going to be it for me.
Tactician. Yeah. Sneaky kobold. All right, I like it. All right, Selk. Your turn. What are you going to do?
All right. So In climbing up, the ogre started reacting, started coming. He yelled at me to stay down there, right?
Yeah, right. The chain guy.
Yeah,
Brute.
guy.
His name's Bill. He prefers Bill.
Do I know Bill? Do I know that his name is Bill?
No, you don't. I guess this is backstory. It comes out later on after the battle. His name is Bill, and then he was teased as Chain Guy during school, which made him more angry.
This can be so cruel. We'll have to work through the therapy session afterwards. What about weird mustache guy? Wannabe Salvador Dali.
So these guys, seeing that you've defeated. Thanks for reminding me. You defeated Molly. Some of them are chanting, but some of them are growing nervous. And these are just like simple townsfolk. So he's moved away. And in fact, he's like, this ain't no good fight. I'm getting out of here. And he disappears.
Okay.
I resemble that mustache comment.
the nyiz, if you have the nyiz, that's the wannabe Dali.
Tried it.
If you
failed.
See, you gotta wax. Now grow it and wax them, and then I won't make fun of you because that would be mean. That's how you end up a chain guy. I don't want that happening.
So you're in view of I'm gonna say you have Chain Guy he's at the top, but he's got like
There's a lot
partial
going
cover, and then you could you have, I guess, from where you are, you don't really have a good shot at the hulking guy with the enforcement on his back. So without movement, you've got you've got a view of Chain Guy and some of the other townsfolk, and then I guess the last flying creature.
Okay, so let's see.
Different enemies in this combat now. Starting to get really interesting seeing how they're all moving.
So would I be considered
definitely.
familiar with Frank over here? Since
Are you
Frank,
in terms of what? I don't. You're not on first name basis.
yeah, but I'm aware of who he is. Specifically, what I'm looking at is climbing up the rest of the wall, which is about 10 feet that I have, right?
Yeah.
Getting to the top and casting message to send a message to Frank that only he can hear. It's 120-foot range, can travel through solid stone, is it?
And is the stipulation you have to be familiar with him?
The stipulation is you have to be familiar with them to actually go through stone or anything else.
Well, if you get to the top, you're going to be able to see him. I guess I'm reluctant to say that you're familiar. It seems foreign to me, but you can see him, and you can also see the other. There's another ogre there too. If you want to do anything about that guy, this guy's just a regular old ogre, no chains. He feels a little left out. No chains, no fortifications, just a straight up badass.
Yep. Each having all the enemies having their own sort of backstory or flavor is great.
Public fight, not even let me bet on myself. What kind of animal are you?
I love how some of the kobolds are getting scared, losing morale.
What's the intent of your message?
Just conveying that I'm upset that I didn't get to gamble on my own fight.
Okay.
Just want to. His entire intention and drive is to be able to place a bet on himself in this fight.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay, and so you're at the top of the pit now?
Yep, at the top of the pit, and moving towards Frank and just sending a message of,
okay,
hey, you didn't even let me bet on myself. It's barely a fair fight.
He seems to be enraged. He does it like he goes to his head. It's like it's in my mind, and it's like confusion, anger. Okay. Anything else for your turn?
That's it.
Okay. Let's see who comes next.
It's not the size of the bunny in the fight.
So it is the chain
it's the
guy.
amount that the bunny wants to bet himself in the fight.
And so, just to get the measurements right, Kazni, you were, I guess, 17 and a half out of 25. So that's 8.5 feet. Yeah. So he's got his chain, I think, will reach 10 feet. I'm checking on him.
Yeah, generally with the ogres and larger creatures.
Yeah. So he's going to attack you with his chain.
Yep. That 10-foot reach is really helpful.
Oh, definitely.
He gets a 15 total.
Nope, 16.
Yeah, so it briefly wraps around your amazing bracers, and he tries this maneuver where he's like going to kind of hook you, and it slips off the metal, and you get away.
Kazi does have bracers of defense, upping her AC. That's how she got that 16.
And let's see if you can do anything else here. No, I think that's it. Yeah. And the last flying creature decides that he doesn't really like Yakria because, they killed his colleague, his last colleague, flies towards you, getting only a 9. So I'm guessing that doesn't hit you. And so it tries to swoop away again. So you can take an opportunity attack on it if you would like.
Yes,
they
please.
were work friends.
Okay.
Sturges.
I'm going to shoot it in the face because I'm a crossbow expert.
Smart move.
There's a 28
Absolutely.
hit.
No, that's a miss. No, yeah. You got it.
So again, a crossbow expert can shoot
damage.
That's enough. It kind of just poofs into it. Its body doesn't know how to react to so much force, and it just hits the ground. Gone. Nice.
Yeah, she's able to shoot without disadvantage.
And there's boos. The townsfolk start booing, boo, boo, and another couple of them start to move away. They're getting out of here. This is no fun. I guess they're not really counting on the next. I don't know, or they're scared. You can't really tell. Okay, I think that's it. Yakria. It's now your turn.
My arm's starting to get a little tired, so what I would like to do is swing back and forth on the rope and try to jump to the side of the pit.
To like jump. Okay. What? So.
Wow. Istra's a swashbuckler, but Yakria is getting all the moves.
Yeah, really interesting use of rope.
And I'm going to try and find out how this works. Okay, after some consideration, I don't think there's something that precisely explains this. So we're imagining the rope from the rope trick hanging down 10 feet above the ground, and Yakria swinging on that. Normally, the long jump is your strength score plus your strength modifier, I believe, and your strength modifier is 0. But I'm gonna say that because of the momentum of the rope, I'm giving you an extra 5 feet. So you're 10 feet off the ground with an extra 5 feet plus a 10-foot jump. That's 25 feet. So you will be able to reach out with your fingertips to grab the edge of the pit, but you're gonna have to make an acrobatics check to see if you hold on or if you slip down to the ground. So go ahead and make an acrobatics check. I'm going to say the DC. I'm going to say it's a 12.
I got a 7.
Oh no! Okay. So you're essentially you're going to fall back down, and you take only 3 points of damage. So that's your movement. I'm going to say, not in your action, because you had to make that skill check, which I think counts as an action. That's your turn. You take 3 damage. It looked really sweet up until you didn't grab onto the side. Okay.
Secretly, that's, Yakuya wants it to look really sweet.
Yeah, it looked awesome. Kazni.
All right. So I've got about 8 feet away from the guy with the chains. Bill, right? Bill was his name?
Yes. Bill, chain guy.
Yes.
Hey, don't call me that.
Yeah, well, we're going to... Only my mother calls me that. All right. We're going to finish climbing this wall as fast as possible.
Yeah, as you see, as you like kind of reach the cusp of the pit, there's some murmurs and screams. 2 more of the village people run away. Okay, so you're position yourself where you are next to Bill.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna continue the momentum of going up, and we're just gonna continue to climb up Bill.
Okay.
As we.
You're climbing up. You're climbing onto. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Straight up the wall, all the way up Bill. Keep him going. Just.
Okay, so can you climb up Bill? I'm gonna set it like as a pretty low DC check, but there's gonna be something. It's gonna be a DC 7.
Sometimes low DC checks can make for much more interesting.
You want an
and
athletics
fun
check on that?
Yeah.
Because the players are like, "Oh, this should be easy,"
better.
but they get nervous about that.
20. Right. So yeah, I'm not going to count that as an action. Just in due course of your awesomeness, you climb up chain guy. So where are you, on his back or?
Yeah, just like straight up.
Okay.
I'm assuming he was looking, out at the pit. So whatever plane of his body was continuing the wall.
Oh, okay. So it was kind of his face was facing the. So you're climbing up the front of Bill.
Yep, front of Bill.
Nice. Okay.
And go at him with the cat's claws.
Go for it.
19.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
All right. 9.
9 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we're gonna headbutt him too.
Let's play.
Just what we're gonna do. 13.
Let's see. Yeah, that hits.
All right.
Again, some of these larger creatures might have a lower AC.
5 points.
Lots of health.
Okay. Yeah, he's touche. Okay. Any other bonus actions, movement, or you're staying up on
No,
Bill?
we're just gonna cling to Bill.
Okay.
Like our life depends on it.
Okay. All right. Let's see who goes next. So it's the Kobolds who are up in the armament there with Frank Bishop start to get into it. And I guess their closest target is Selk. So they've got slings, and they're going to, 3 of them are going to fire at Selk. And we get, so we got a 17, a 19, and a 14.
I mean, I'm getting pelted on all of those.
All of them. Okay. All right. So you take a total of 12 points of, 12 points of damage.
Ooh, on a wizard, that's
damage.
tough.
A little FG.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Where are your hit points at now, by the way, just so I know?
11.
You got 11 left. Okay. Okay. So that's, kobolds, and now the towering ogre. He's angry, and he's going to start moving towards. This is kind of a ramp, so he's going to move towards Selk. Oh, that puts him right up there, and
He's gonna say hello.
yeah. So
That
he's
is
gonna
not where you
take
want your
a
sorcerer.
swing at you,
Oh.
and let's see. Okay. Gets a total of a 9.
Big old 9.
Yep.
That 13 will hold up this time.
Okay. So yeah, he's got a club comes smashing down on you. And with that movement, I'm again going to give a chance that some of the kobolds fall off of him. I'm going to say 16 or higher, they fall off. One of them does. One of them falls off, and it falls down into the pit and takes 7 points of damage, which is enough to kill one of these kobolds. And Frank goes, "What the heck's going on?" And he's not too pleased, but that's what happens when his castle attacks. All right.
I mean, having minions, part of the reason I have minions is to throw them all around the place.
That's it for the monsters. And,
Yeah.
Things are getting intense now. We have some of the villagers that are leaving. It seems like they did not sign up for what's happening here. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of the takeaways from this round?
Yeah, definitely a really exciting round this time. I'm loving to see this heating up, especially with the larger creatures coming into play and the ogres. I think we're really starting to see combat heat up, especially late in the game. I think it's really cool. And I think it speaks to a lot of the flow of the battle itself, especially at round 4 or 5. Things can start to feel sluggish, but I feel like with the addition of ogres and getting Frank back in with witty commentary really helps liven it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, that's just part of the role play for this. That we really want to get everyone immersed in the battle, and even Selk using that message to sort of like mess with him was perfect. It looks like I got my map about where it should be right now. I also want to give a shout out to 2 Minute Tabletop, because they're the ones that we got this map from for this week. So as you can see, it is an amazing map. I always love having topography and other things that players can interact with, because I think it just sparks creativity. So I personally cannot draw maps or anything for my life, so I like to always use digital maps whenever I can.
Absolutely, me too. I think a good map really helps the game a lot, and I'm not a good cartographer, so having groups like 2 Minute Tabletop that do maps is really amazing.
Yeah, it definitely helps the game along. So we had another use of the rope trick, like another creative use. Tell me a little bit about that. What were you thinking when
I
wanted
liked
to
it
do
a
that?
lot. I think rope tricks being used really creatively in this battle, and we love to see it. I think it was maybe a little generous to go with like full movement from the rope swing, but really creative use, and so I'm willing to let it go and say it's fun, it's awesome. And like dealing with level changes in the middle of a fight is always difficult. So seeing a creative solution is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so many times we could have characters that will just say like, "Oh, I Misty Step," or "I fly," or "I do one of the many things I can do," but then, or one of the many things that I can mechanically do. But then seeing a player do something that hasn't been written down as a rule somewhere is awesome. And it doesn't always work out, as we saw. Yakria did all that, but unfortunately at the end still fell to the bottom of the pit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think taking the risk is a big part of what makes D&D fun. So it was really great, see a character try something like that.
Yes.
Um,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I really like, as a comment, the AC bonus on the Barbarian. Super strong. those bracers of defense have come in clutch several times in this fight, especially this past round.
Yeah, definitely. I know barbarians a lot of time they're meant to take the hit, but sometimes when they don't have to take the hit, that's even better. So yeah, those bracers of defense definitely helped out. It was a good bump for Kazny there. What do you think of Kazny climbing up the ogre?
I think it's a really interesting call. As a player, I love to see, especially a character with climb speed and already in that kind of build, going for it. As a note, I do think Kazny is size large, and so I think that's an interesting interaction of large creature climbing up an even larger creature. Like ogres, I guess I just looked it up, large giants. So makes sense. I could see it being a hulking enough character for it to work out. But I think climbing character is always really interesting. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, again, it was. I think it was done well because the player was like, I just want to kind of get in position, and it didn't seem like she was asking for a full, take the movement down, lock this ogre down, sort of grapple, but still to continue on and be able to climb and get in position. As flavor wise, I thought it was great because the player could have just said, Eve could have just said, "Oh, Kazi's going to climb up and then get in position and attack," and that would have been great. Though she said, "I want to climb up on the ogre," giving that visualization about where she is and where she's located, and may set up for like more roleplay and creative uses later on. But mechanically, it was the same. So yeah, I always encourage players to describe what they're doing and how they're attacking, just to add flavor to the round.
Yeah, absolutely great point in that it didn't provide a mechanical advantage. I think you bring up a good point of it's mechanically the same thing as standing there, but it has so much cool extra flavor, and we love to see that.
Yeah, and also the other thing too is if it doesn't have much of a mechanical piece to it, if it keeps the flow of the game going, especially with these longer round battles, it keeps the players engaged, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else for this round?
I don't think so. I think I'm excited to see the rest of the rounds play out, especially as we get into the kobolds and we see more of Frank. I think there's some really interesting aspects of this battle that I want to see unfold.
Yeah, I'm really interested, especially what's going to happen with Selk. That's a tough spot to be as a wizard, trapped behind a pit and a bunch of enemies. Kazni also one-on-one with an ogre. Love to see what's going on there. But yeah, let's head on to round 5 and see how they do.
Fight.
Istra.
Yeah. Something I'd like to try to do. I want to move out just a little bit again so that I can get in eye shot.
Okay.
And I would actually like to persuade these last 2 kobolds to turn on Frank for the opportunity to live, since it's very apparent that they're not doing too well on their side. I want to see if we can take advantage of this and maybe sway them.
Okay.
So would that just be a persuasion check for you?
Yeah. Sure. A persuasion check. What is? Yeah, this can be pretty. So I would say that like convincing them to flee is going to have a higher chance. You can try and convince them to do whatever you want, but to convince them to murder Frank is going to be harder than convincing them to flee. So
I can word it either way: flee and live, or join us and be rewarded. I mean, I don't care if they know if that's the truth.
Okay,
or not.
yeah. So there's going to be increasing levels of success. But it's still
going to be saying this in Kobold, so Frank's not even going to understand what's going on with
nice.
this.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to set the DC. It's still pretty high. I'm going to say the DC is 18 to convince them to flee, and then a 22 to turn on Frank.
All right.
So
let's see what we get.
Istra as a rogue.
We got an 18 to get him to flee.
Nice. Okay.
Wow.
So
Yes.
The
they go.
persuasion. Yeah.
I don't know what it's lost in translation. So nobody else, you, Nas, get the secret fulfillment of their true message, which we'll never know. But they jump off of the Hulk and to wherever the townspeople are going, perhaps back to the bar where this all started, and they are gone.
I love there's more than one way to take them out of a fight.
Yeah, I think there was a significant amount of persuasion that it had to take 6 seconds. So yeah, I'm going to say that's your action.
All right, so I'm just going to use the last of my movement, and I'm going to hide right back up against that rock face.
Of course you are. Okay, nice. That was a great turn. Okay, Pinder. Well, your troubles got slightly less desperate. What are you going to do?
So I'm just gonna yell after the fleeing kobolds. What? You don't want my action? And then I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on the tank moving castle thing that contains Frank Bishop.
Okay, let's take a break here, and we're going to have the commentators tell us about Dissonant Whispers, and then we'll come back.
All right, Julia, can you remind us of what Dissonant Whispers is?
Absolutely. It's a really interesting spell in that on a failed wisdom saving throw, your target will take 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction to move as far away as possible. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage and doesn't have to move away. I think it's a really interesting way to do forced movement, which can be very powerful in a battle, especially something like this with a level change and, different terrains. What are your thoughts?
I think you're absolutely right on all those fronts, as well as there's more than one way to take an enemy out of a fight, so you don't have to necessarily kill them, as we saw with Istra and the Kobolds, convincing them to just flee the battle altogether. Having this ogre just run away and then leave the fight for however many number of turns it is, it's that many turns that it's not swinging a weapon. So yeah, definitely interesting. Definitely, I think a very useful spell, and like you said, with forced movement, that would provoke opportunity attacks as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see.
All right, so I think probably Rob's discussed Dissonant Whispers, and behind the scenes, we also discussed Dissonant Whispers. Sal, go ahead, and you're casting it, as I understand, on the ogre with the castle and Frank Bishop on his back.
Correct. So that ogre is going to need to succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom save.
Okay, let me check to see what if this guy. I can't imagine. Perhaps he's got some minuses. I can't imagine he's got any bonuses.
I can't imagine him being wise. He's got a bunch of kobolds and a man strapped to the back of his.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't make wise decisions in his life.
He hasn't. He does. In fact, he has a -2. Okay, so I'm going to roll here, and we'll see.
Wisdom score of 7, -2.
He rolls a 15, so -2 is a 13.
Yeah, all right. I was going to say.
Nice.
I don't want to generalize ogres, but this ogre definitely, I thought, had made some bad decisions and wasn't very wise.
Okay, so he starts to run away from you with Frank Bishop on his back. So he goes 40 feet, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay.
And he's also going to take 13 psychic damage.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Woo.
He also, I forgot about that. 13. Nice. How excellent.
1-2 punch. It's really good.
Okay.
Solid spell.
Are you doing anything else?
Just
Especially
kind
for
of
level
shouted
1.
him like, Frank, come on. You should have taken my action. I thought you had a big mean ogre.
Frank doesn't look happy about this turn of events. Okay. Let's see who's up next. Yeah, so now it's the chain ogre, Bill. And so Kazni, you're on his back, and he's going to try and spend his action to try and grapple you. So it's a pose strength. Go ahead and I believe it is. And we're going to play it that way, and we'll see if Rob corrects me. Okay. Oh, okay. So he rolled a total of a 7.
Nice. So that is. It's not a saving throw. That's a.
No, you just roll like a d20 and add whatever strength modifier you have.
Right, strength check. Okay.
It would be athletics, which possibly
which,
bump it up a bit.
Do you get? Let's think a little bit about your rage. Don't you get advantage on strength checks?
I do, but I don't know if I'm raging anymore.
Oh no, rage lasts for
Definitely raging.
a minute. So we certainly haven't had that many rounds. You're raging.
Yeah, it's no, because I did take damage. Okay, never mind. I thought I lost it for a brief period. So, ew. Well, that was a piss poor roll. Anyway.
Even with advantage.
I didn't roll with advantage. Whoopsies.
Again, so helpful.
Hold,
Barbarians.
please. I'll roll again.
Are really good at this.
Okay,
does
9.
not have.
Ew. Still gross.
Yeah. So he only got a 7. So he fails to grapple you, and he wastes his turn trying to do so. Which is good. So we are now up to Yakria, who's you're at the bottom of the pit. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try to change that. I don't want to be in this pit.
Okay.
Come back out.
I'd like to try to climb the pit.
Okay. So you're just gonna move to the wall, which is probably at 10, and then you get 20 feet left, so you're like 10 feet up.
Okay.
That's your movement. Are you going to do anything else?
Yeah, I'll shoot at this this Bill character.
Yeah, right. Let's say that you you shot at him before you moved, because I think that's your best way to have gotten a good angle on him. What did you roll?
On that one.
I was gonna say I don't usually do critical misses, but this one's begging to have one. So you actually incidentally are gonna hit Kazni, who's on Bill. So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll for damage.
I'm glad you are still raging. I rolled nice and low, only 5.
Okay, so we'll take 2 points of damage.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so that's your.
That's my whole turn.
Do you get multi attack though, right? Your 5th. I think so.
You have extra attack. I forgot we're low. All right.
Again, very common for one shots.
Super easy.
Yeah.
26.
Okay, yeah, that hits. Nice.
And then Yakria could also attack again.
7 damage.
Bonus action.
Another 7 points of damage
Prospect
to Bill. I gotta find him here on the list. There's so many. Okay, here we go. Yeah, chipping away. Nice. Okay. Oh, who's up? It's Kazni. So all the actions is currently centered around Bill the chain guy. What are you gonna do?
All right. Well, to add a lovely little bit of flavor, if I can, from when he was trying to kind of get at me, it was just kind of one shoulder over to the other shoulder, over to the other shoulder. All right. So let's see. Still raging. Definitely, let's see, what are we going to do? All right, we're going to attack with cat's claws, but again, for a little bit more flavor, we're going to do, she's holding on with the top, we're going to scratch with the back paws.
Okay.
Nice. Again, I just love the imagery and the flavor.
Yeah.
Just say what it's
8, no.
Okay.
say what you're doing mechanically,
Well,
and then how you're flavoring it.
I asked you initially if you were going to recklessly attack, and you were not. So let's. I meant to do that, and then you rolled. So I'm going to revisit that. You don't have to recklessly attack, but if you want to, you can. But then that's going to give you disadvantage later on.
Nah, still gonna stick with my.
Okay.
tiny paw pads over there.
These cautious barbarians. Okay. So you rolled once and you missed, right? So you
Yep.
certainly get another.
Yeah, no, we're gonna.
So again,
we're gonna
reckless
go to
attack
bite
would allow Kazi
Okay.
to
bite him.
roll with advantage, but then all creatures roll with advantage on attacks against her as a barbarian.
Ew! Again, 8. Gross! My gosh.
Okay.
Ah,
Total.
poor Cass.
I want to pause for a second to talk about your attacks. Okay,
No,
we're
I had
back.
2 of the 3.
Two, three. Okay, so we did determine that yes, you should have 3 attacks. You get 2 attacks for being 5th level, and you get an extra attack, and then the 3rd attack is your bonus action, which you're essentially using your claw as a second weapon. So go ahead and take your 3rd attack.
All right, so we're gonna do cat's claws again. Maybe these dice won't stink. 13.
Yeah, that's gonna hit him.
All right, finally. My gosh, these dice are terrible tonight. Oh, we got 10
Doesn't
now.
matter.
Oh wow!
All right, 10 damage. I'll take that.
Nice. Okay. So with that, Bill is bloodied. So there's just kind of like blood oozing off of his face, coming off of his face.
Add that to the viscera. We'll just keep going.
Yeah, I got to get better descriptions of Bill's gore.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter
Okay.
digital or in real life.
So the Kobolds
The dice are going to find a way to
and then,
fail the worst moment.
We missed
Always blame the dice.
Frank Bishop.
I mean, that's what I
So
do.
Go back to him, and
Got it.
I didn't kill you.
Cursing
Dice killed you.
at his, ogre, but he jumps off, and so he's going to start running. He's going to dash, so we'll get we'll say 5 to get down, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40,
Frank is
45,
fast.
50, 55.
Frank is really fast,
60. So he's just positioning himself to be in the mix.
but he is dashing. So
And also,
and running too.
this ogre is going to come around, and it's got, I guess, let's see how much movement he's got. 40 feet. Yeah, so he's not going to mess with the whole Bill Casney thing that's going on there. But he's going to move towards, he is going to, he perceives that Yakria is coming up and is going to try and head them off when they get up there. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and he's readying an action. Okay. So, let's go back to the Dissonant Whispers. How long is that effect? Was it a 1-round effect, or can this ogre make it back?
I believe it's just one. Yeah, it's just an instantaneous make you run away.
Okay. All right. So he kind of snivels and is ashamed of himself and starts to lumber back. And he is the second part of his action to make himself, better prepared to fight. He just sheds this battlement that's on top of him and takes it off and pulls out a big club, and he's ready to go next round. And so that brings us to the top of the round, Istra.
All right. My question is, this ogre that's prepared above Yakria, how close is he to her? Like, how far up this ledge has she made it?
I think it was you were 10 feet, so I think there's 15 feet left.
Okay, not as close as I would like. So I know that they're still going to have partial cover, but I'm going to take a pop shot at
Let's
Chain
take a
Guy with
break.
the short bow and see how we do.
I just wanted to take a quick break. I kind of fell apart there after the shed comment. Very very well placed. I was not ready for that. As a very quick aside, I do give my players inspiration for really good puns at my table. Every player knows it, and every player is just a perfect concatenate of just bad puns. But let's head back to that round. So again, lots happening. Really good use of some spells and some other attacks. What do you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of really good stuff happening, especially that persuasion check to get the two kobolds out. I think when there's solid numerical actions like getting enemies to leave the fight, totally makes sense for that to be an action, especially if it's a longer phrase or a conversation, even. So I thought that was a really good action and ruling in that moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know when players try to have conversations during battles, I'll let them say they'll be like, "Oh, I want to tell so and so," and I'll say, "All right, if it's more than one or two words, that's your action because that's what you're spending all of your attention on." So I agree. Like, yeah, it got the kobolds to leave, and it was enough. There was a roll. There was a lot happening. That's an action.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a solid round this past round. A lot of good stuff happening down with the two ogres. Um, Frank is fast. I know he dashed, but seeing that much movement across the battlefield is always very cool.
Yes, and again, getting in position, not necessarily taking an action, but putting themselves or putting Frank in a position where next round he might be set up for something. Um, there really is a lot to this battlefield control, which is where you want you to be and where you want your enemies to be. Speaking of which, I know we talked about this briefly earlier. Uh, let's just touch on that one move. We don't have to go too far. That Selk did with Dissonant Whispers.
Yes, I thought it was a really good move in this moment, especially to get some like breathing room. You don't want the ogre right up next to your wizard or sorcerer. It's never gonna end well. So I thought that was a really well placed spell.
Exactly. And not to say that there's meta knowledge about this, but I think the player Pinder even said this doesn't seem like a an ogre that has made wise choices with their lives. But even using something that like has a wisdom, which is force the movement of the ogre away, opposed to like Misty Step, which is a higher level spell and would still get you away. This was just because of the fail, it worked out much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I've got a question about critical misses. I know we haven't done them a lot, or this was the first one for this battle. What are your thoughts on critical misses as a DM?
I think it depends a lot on what it is and how you're gonna rule it. Sometimes I feel like it's okay. This one I could see, especially with having a player character on the back of an enemy and missing so wildly. I think by and large I hesitate to do them because of how often like nat ones happen. I think sometimes they can end up just getting to be not fun over time. But I think used well, they can be a really good way to spice up and add stakes to an encounter.
Yep, I think that was very poignant. And I know when I first started DMing early on, I would do critical misses, and it was just punishing because you're just stacking up. It's just like you're stacking up badness upon badness. And you were absolutely right. My players were like, after a while, it was like, this isn't fun, and that's what the game's about. So, but in this specific case, absolutely, it adds flavor. It adds the players saying like, oh, okay, yeah, now I really need to, really need to get these guys. So yeah, I think it helped in this case.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anything else for this round that you can think of?
I don't think so. I think this round, I especially like seeing a lot of the townspeople flee. I feel like sometimes you can have onlookers hang out for too long in a battle, and it absolutely makes sense that folks would have started to run as soon as this pit seemed to get out of hand. So So I think it's a really fun change of pace and flow.
Yeah, Paul's doing a really excellent job in making the environment and what is happening and the impact really seem alive. I like how he even did this with Istra, where Istra's like, I want to convince the Kobolds. Like they're not just we're going to keep swinging until we're dead characters. They have like a dynamic self to them. So very much well rounded. Same with the villagers and the townspeople. I know as a DM, when there's a lot of icons on the board, I will forget about the ones I'm not moving. And then people are like, why is there a townsperson just standing in the middle of here? I'm like, oh, they are very afraid.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's really true though. Is keeping the map fresh and keeping up to date super helpful, and Paul's doing an excellent job about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Fight.
head to
Okay.
round 6.
Yep. Oh yeah, Ching. Yeah. So right, go ahead.
Oh, we only got a 9 that time, but I'm going to use a lucky. I'm going to
Nice.
use one of my points of lucky, and I'm going to re-roll that.
Good.
Ooh, yeah. Remember, lucky feat allows you to re-roll.
That got a
D20s.
14. Probably still not high
Much
enough.
better.
No, that's gonna hit.
Oh, all right. So
And that's the
we're
value of
gonna
lucky right
roll
there.
for damage on that, and because he's
Exactly.
got an ally on his back, we're gonna use
Yeah.
our sneak attack. So
Yes.
we got 5 for normal damage,
Okay.
and for sneak attack damage, we got another 15.
Dang. Okay.
Wow.
Right. So that's almost enough to kill him, but not quite. Nice. Great sneak attack.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna call it there because actually, I'm gonna start using some of my movement. How much movement can I use to start climbing up? What would you allow since I did my
Yeah.
action already?
So is your movement normally what 25?
So I've got a normal 30, so should I be able to do 15 since I'm already at the
right.
wall?
You can go
All right.
15 up the wall. Yep.
All right, we're 15 up the wall, and we're going to call it there for the turn.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Selk. Yet again near danger.
All right, so eyeballing the ogre coming back, he just let out a nice little crap. And Frank Bishop has moved behind Selk, correct?
Yeah,
So-
he's kind of he's just down there to your side. There's some elevation going on so that the ogre is kind of like at the top of a stairway, and you're kind of in a nook underneath that. So he doesn't have a line of sight to you, and you don't really have a line of sight to the ogre right now. You can if you back up, or if you climb up these stairs up to here. So like this is more elevated than here, and this is lower elevated than both those spots.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maps make this super helpful. On theater of mind, this might be a more difficult task.
I'm gonna run at Frank Bishop, so start going towards him.
Okay.
Ooh.
It'll be let's say about 5. I get about 5 feet close,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna fire off second level spell. Oh, do I have it at first level? No. Okay, so I'm gonna fire off a second level spell. Sorry, give me 1 second. I just had it there, and I don't think it's second level.
Okay, yeah, as he's looking for the spell, I wonder
Vortex
what
Warp.
it is he cast. Ooh, Vortex Warp is second level.
So that's going to be a Constitution 15 saving throw to Mr. Frank Bishop.
Hell, what now? Okay, so he rolls a 3.
Constants
it doesn't
are
matter what
usually-
his bonuses are, which is a 1. Yeah, he fails. What happens?
So he disappears into a void and
Of course.
reappears over on top of the pit. At the same time, I'm going to spend a sorcery point to twin the spell and cast it at the ogre the secondary spell, who will also have to make a Constitution 15 saving throw.
Wow. Okay. This is
Whoa.
awesome. I love this play. Okay. So how far does Frank travel out over the pit?
Just dead center of the pit. Like, I'm putting him as
Okay.
mid the pit as he can go.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and let me roll for his damage. So he's gonna fall into the pit, and he takes double ones. He only takes 2 points of damage.
Right, not that bad.
Okay. And then we're rolling the same thing.
But not
The
with the
ogre's
D4.
got to make a
And now he's
DC
in the pit.
15 check. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to roll for the ogre.
Should be pretty good for ogres.
He gets an 8. So also a fail.
Not that good.
Wow.
He's gonna fall right on top of Frank.
Nice. Okay.
Here.
That's amazing. Okay, so first we'll give the damage to the ogre, and then we're gonna ogre takes 6 damage, and so I'm gonna say, I don't know what damage to assign from an ogre. I'm gonna say significant amount. I'm gonna do 3d10.
That's a significant amount.
so
That's a really
here we
good
go.
call, I'd
Things to
say.
prep you for
Yeah.
DM
8.
school. Drop an ogre on top
Yeah.
of
8. Well, you're rolling high. So 8 and 7. So that's 15 so far. Plus 6. An additional 21 points of damage from ogre damage to Frank Bishop. And he's way more than bloodied. Wow. That was an outstanding turn. Anything else for your turn?
He's just gonna look down and say, looks like the competition's fallen flat. No, don't say that. Come on, Selkie, you know better. And
Frank goes, dang. Okay.
Like dropping Brian Shaw on your head.
Okay.
I didn't think that ogre would fall in there. Oh, sorry. I meant the battle ogre that he had been on, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. All right. So nice. So how much? Let's see. I think I gave that ogre.
Howdah still had a plus
8
4
points
to
of damage.
strength.
So reassigning it. Okay. Let me just
plus 3 to
reassign the
con.
damage to the other guy. Okay. Great.
So with an 8, you're still within
So
it.
the ogre is bloodied as well. Okay. All right. So next in line is Bill. So he's gonna try again to get Kasny off his back, because it's just this will not stand. So it's another opposed strength check. This time he gets a 17 plus. Oh, he gets a 21.
Okay. And I think I still have advantage on this.
Yeah, advantage on strength checks. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. 22.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And he just can't believe it. He's like, what the hell's going on? Okay.
Crow.
So he again wastes his turn trying to get you off his back.
Wow.
And
Don't try to grapple barbarians.
that's his turn. The moving on. Yakria. So you are okay, so you're right, we're repositioning that ogre. So you're kind of coming up, you're 15 feet below the edge, and you can see the ogre kind of lining up, eyeing he's ready in action. So if you come up there, he's gonna swing at you. What are you doing?
I'm going to do a little bouldering,
Okay.
go to the side,
Okay.
like there. Can
Yeah,
I
so that
still
takes-
get out?
So you have 30 feet, so that takes 10, and then you're 15 feet I think you're 15 feet down. No, you can't do that and get out, right? Because you've got 10, and then you can move another 10 up.
Can I use my crossbow on the wall?
I'm going to say you
It's a
can, but with
one-handed
this,
weapon?
I'm going to say, it's a one-handed weapon. So yeah, you can do it. Sure.
Yeah, should be good.
All right,
Crossbow
well, I'm
expert,
gonna
one-handed.
shoot this ogre who's in my way.
Yeah.
Oh. 21 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
7 damage.
7. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
And
All right.
I get 2 attacks. I remember now.
Okay.
20 to hit.
Yeah. It hits again.
Five damage.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to shoot him again.
Wow. The hits never end. Yeah, that's the crossbow expert.
Crossbow expert is
24 to hit
good.
with 5
It's
damage.
such a good feat.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pair it with sharpshooter, deadly.
He's still standing, but you've definitely done a lot of damage to him. Okay. And now it's his turn, and you're still too far away from him, and so he's not very smart. He's just gonna move over and ready in action again.
All right.
And that brings us to Kazni.
Probably should have said what the action was, but
All
again,
right.
kind of like leaving it open.
Me and Bill. It's me and Bill.
Kazni and Bill. I'd watch that show.
That's what we're gonna do. We're just going at him with
Yeah.
claws again. That's it. Just crazed look in her eye, just kind of, you know.
That's a solid plan of action.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
got a bad feeling about this.
Don't have too bad of a feeling. It was only 9, so
A 9 to hit.
Yeah.
And your first hit will miss him. Keep going. You got as we've now discovered, you got 2 more.
Yeah, we got 2 more. All right, let's see. Ew. Okay, 14.
That's a hit.
All right.
Nice.
5.
Okay. All right. You got one more swipe at him.
Right. One more. 12.
Yeah, that hits.
That's
All right.
not bad for an ogre.
Big
Yeah.
money, no whammies. 8.
Yeah.
All right.
So
8 for damage. All right. Yeah, we're
you
just
you
slowly.
swipe at his neck. Despite that big chain there, you're able to get one of your claws in, and you open up his internal jugular, and it just starts bleeding profusely, and so he's kind of toppling, and let's see which way he falls. I'm going to say,
boy.
11 or higher, he falls forward. And he rolls a 14, so he's falling forward. He's going to fall into the pit.
I think
So
that's
go ahead
great.
and make
Leave it to the dice.
a acrobatics check.
Nice. We're gonna go hopefully up and over him.
And Kazni is a barbarian.
10.
Acrobatics
10
isn't that
total.
great, though.
10
2.
total.
No.
Yeah.
So you both go toppling into the pit, and so he's dead. But you're going to take 9 points of damage, and you're at the bottom of the pit. Okay.
Very angry growl of a cat.
Okay.
All right. A lot has happened. Things are definitely this arena is definitely emptying out very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of enemies getting cleared from the board at this stage. Really, really cool move with the Vortex Warp. I think Rules is written not technically on the board, but such a cool move. And I do think you could do a very similar thing, just putting both the Ogre and Frank right at the bottom of the pit, just right on top of each other. So I think mechanically could have been very similar, but like technically you can't do them over empty space like that. But still, such a cool move and such a cool visual.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I would probably let a player flavor it as that, like as dropping them in there without rolling the damage for the mechanics part of it. But yeah, visually that was great. It was also being able to do it do twin spell vortex warp was like ridiculously good, so you could do that right away.
Yes, absolutely. Such a good use of twin spell. Sorcery points I feel like can often be underutilized, but that was a perfect moment to use them.
Yeah, and I will just because I have it up in front of me for folks that aren't used to playing sorcerers. Sorcerers get a special ability called meta magic. They can use their sorcery points to be able to shift and adapt spells in different ways. One of those ways is you can twin spell. When you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of yourself, you can spend a certain number of sorcery points equal to the spell level. In this case, it would be 2 for Vortex Warp. To target a second creature in range of the same spell. Now, there's a little specifics there where you can't have it already be targeting multiple people. Vortex Warp was fine with this, and I think it really kind of shifted the balance of the battle, because now we have 2 of the big bosses at the bottom of the pit.
Absolutely. I think it really changes the whole way this fight is playing out, and I think it's really cool. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. I know we were talking a little bit about this while the battle was going on. Just crossbow expert, I gotta say, Yakria is getting the most out of this feat.
Yeah, absolutely. Crossbow expert is one of the most powerful feats in D&D 5e, and I think this fight is really showing off how powerful it is.
Yep, being able to just have a one-handed crossbow, doing something else with your other hand, whether it's hanging onto a rope, hanging onto a wall, hanging on for your dear life, just about to fall. But you can still keep shooting, and you get 3 shots in a round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so powerful.
Yeah. What do you think about how Kazni just sort of just tore that one ogre apart, and then Paul was like, "Well, we're gonna see how where he falls."
I like that a lot. I think sometimes when you have an element of uncertainty, it's very fun to just roll for it and just kind of see where it goes. I think it brings in a nice element of fun with something like, oh, which way is the body gonna fall? I liked it a lot. I think it was a great move.
Yeah, I also think players are a lot more receptive to that than just saying a DM saying no, I'm just gonna have it rule this way because that's the way I want it to go. Especially in the game, that is very much based on these rolls of chance.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I think you're right. Just putting it into a roll of chance is better than making that decision. And like I said earlier, then as a DM you can just blame the dice. I always tell my players, I don't kill your characters, the dice kill your characters.
I mean, it's the classic line. It's never your fault. It's always the dice's fault.
Exactly. Gives you an out.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else from this round that you really want to focus in on?
I don't think so. I think we're excited to jump back into the next one.
Yeah, I can tell things are really wrapping up pretty quickly, because I can see you can even see here on the field, a lot of the enemies are here in the pit. We have a couple of our adventurers, our heroes in the pit. So yeah, let's get on to round 7 and see what's next.
Yeah.
Fight. We're back at the top of the round, Istra. So you're halfway up, and now all the enemies are going down.
Hey, that's fine with me. So I should be 15 foot up the 25-foot face. So I'm going to come up the rest of the face so that I'm actually out of the hole now.
Okay.
And my question becomes, because I am 25 foot vertical from these guys, would I get advantage on a ranged attack against them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's take a pause. Okay, so I briefly had a look because I wasn't sure. I don't see a specific advantage for high ground, although I think in some other live plays I've seen people do that. So I'm just going to rule it right now that no, there's no advantage, but there's no disadvantage either, and we'll see what Rob comes up with too. All right, so go ahead and make your roll.
All right, so let's see. So that is a normal attack with the short bow. Let's see what we get.
I'm going to say that I'm going to say the Kazni's within 5 feet, so you're going to get a sneak attack if you want.
Oh, there we go. So we got the 21 to hit for
Nice.
The primary attack is 6 damage, and our sneak attack is going to count for another 12.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And then what I'm also going to do is you said this area right here is a ramp going upward, correctly?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to use my cunning action, and I'm going to hide behind the ramp where they can't see me.
Okay.
That way,
Use the cunning action.
for next turn, I can actually just take it with advantage from stealth.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
All right. And that's going to be it for me.
That's it. Okay. All right. So, Selk, it's your turn.
Am I seeing any motion from the pile? Specifically, Frank. I'm looking for him.
Yeah,
moving.
Frank is concealed right now. You can hear him, but you can't see him. That ogre's pretty big. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say he's got 3/4 cover, so he'll get a +5.
All right.
Gotcha.
But not the ogre.
It's one of the benefits of having an ogre full on
I'm
top
just gonna
of you.
message Frank underneath him. As a cantrip, and just be like, Frank, oof, that looks like it hurt a lot, buddy. You okay down there? What are the odds you're gonna survive? Want to take any action?
The odds are not good, sir. Call off your team.
So technically, he can't talk back. I can only talk the message. I would hear him mumbling.
Well, you can hear him. He's just verbalizing it. He's not. He can hear your voice, right? And then he's speaking it out loud.
Would I be able to hear him, or is he concealed enough by the ogre that he would be muffled?
He's screaming it out. You can hear him.
Okay. So everybody else would presumably call him off. So I just kind of look around. That's up to you guys, and pass my turn.
Yeah. So I'm going to see what the other ogre's reaction is. I'm going to say there's a chance he hears him and a chance he doesn't. I mean, he's screaming it out, but there's it's the fog of war and whatever. Still, he's screaming it pretty loud. So let's make a perception check for the other ogre and see if he can hear Frank Bishop's calling out. And so he's got a -2. Let's say he's screaming pretty loud, so he's got to roll
You can kind of see where
12 or above
where the enemies are at
to hear him. Rolls a 9, so the ogre doesn't hear him.
I'm sorry. I do have to correct myself. I was wrong. He gets to reply back in a whisper that only I hear.
Oh, okay. Well, he's screaming, so he's you can also because like what's coming in your mind. You can hear that he's giving up, and so the other ogre at the bottom of the pit is giving up, and so he puts his arms up. We just got this last ogre who hasn't figured it out yet. Okay, so you've messaged him. Are you doing anything else?
Nope, that's it. Just kind of looking around at everybody and be like, "Do we want to stop? How do you guys feel?" I mean,
yeah. So it doesn't take long for the other ogre to actually figure it out. Frank Bishop has surrendered his his other ogres surrendered. This is really an inevitable battle. It all started out as fun and games, right? Can we? It was like, catch the new guy and throw him in the pit, and now it's turned into this like slaughter where you have like scared the whole village and humiliated Frank Bishop in front of his troops. But he's glad to escape with his life, and the other ogre just kind of looks confused. He's like, "What happened?" But yeah, that's it. I'm going to say this battle is over, both with the kind of taunting and visible damage you've done to them. The fight has gone out of Frank Bishop and his crew. Well done.
All right. So, end of the battle. Very quick round. First, I just want to get your quick thoughts on the high ground rules that Istro was asking about, and then we're going to get into the rest of the battle. So,
Yeah,
high ground.
absolutely. High ground, I don't think it is a thing in 5e, and as someone that's only played 5e, don't know a ton about it in other editions. It does sound like it could absolutely have been something in like 4th or 3rd edition, but I don't know a ton. I don't rule high ground as being advantage or anything, so that's my take on it.
I'm right there with you. I've only played 5e. I think in Baldur's Gate it is a thing, but we're playing 5e. And I would even say that from the previous round, it might be a disadvantage because the characters were prone. And with range attacks, you get disadvantage on prone characters.
Yeah, absolutely, totally could have been another aspect to the ruling.
Yeah.
I think this...
And then Selk with another key use of message to sort of de-escalate and just get the battle over. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we've seen some really creative spell usage with this whole battle, the message being one of them. I think it's a really fun way to play spells that maybe don't have combat purposes as actually being really useful.
Yep, totally agree. I think it was really great. We saw the tides of the battle shifting, and also really plays to the dynamic character that Paul brought to the table as well, where Frank, the big bad boss, also saw the tides of the battle and was like, "I'm not going to win this. Let me call truce." So I really like that as well. It doesn't have to always come down to who loses all their HP first.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really fun, and I think Paul summed it up best. Fun and games turn deadly very quickly, and a man like Paul isn't going to stick around and wait until all his troops are dead before calling off the fight.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so you were bringing up this point, but I'll talk about it, I guess, since I was a DM. That this was an example of a battle that didn't have to go to the bitter end. Like, all the enemies didn't have to reach 0 hit points. It's probably rare that's ever going to happen once you think about it. But this is a really good example. The kind of the tide of the battle seemed to be turning, and when I ended it, it was Frank Bishop was underneath an ogre, and I was just role playing it, and he said, "I give up," and then I realized, I guess the battle was over, which I thought was a holistic way for the battle to end.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that the role play wise, not every character is going to lie down their lives to fight the party. Some of them are going to tap out earlier.
Yeah.
Mechanically, as a DM, do you really want to keep dragging out a fight, especially if you already know kind of how it's going to end up? It just would, for pacing, make a lot more sense just to kind of end it early.
Yeah, and find a decent way to do it other than just going like, well, you guys would have won the battle, it's over, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely
Fun
want
way to do it.
You definitely want to put in that role play to really kind of make it just feel that much more immersive and engaging.
I didn't actually have to try it. Like I said, it's just like I had the guy say, it's over. And that was a good way to end it. So let's talk a little bit about the Vortex warp, because I got that wrong in the thing that was presented to me that he teleported over the pit, but you can't, that spell doesn't work like that, which we was commented on.
Yeah, we definitely covered that Vortex warp. You need to have a flat surface, though I would still say it was a really impactful, important play of the game.
Yeah.
Because even if you weren't going to Vortex warp someone over thin air, you can Vortex warp them really far away. So you can that ogre, if it was vortex warped 90 feet away, would have been out of the battle for 2 rounds, or just trying to dash to get back in.
And I think it was the case that you can't vortex warp it over a pit, but you could have vortex warped them to the bottom of the pit, sitting on top of And so, like, how are you not going to give up when you're like on your back, and then there's an ogre with a castle on his back sitting on you? It doesn't look good.
Exactly. Yeah. So even though there had to be a ruling during the game, which again, like I said, great for pacing, just to keep it moving. It was still a great spell.
Okay, so let's talk. We usually talk about player of the game and play of the game.
So play of the game, we'll just say again, Vortex Warp. Again, changes the battlefield, gets people out of the battle so that the party can focus in and really on whoever's left.
Yeah. Okay, and then I agree with that. I think that was like it was a big moment in the game. It was cool, and yeah. Okay, so then. So I agree with you. What's your player of the game?
Player of the game, I'd have to go with Eve's Tabaxi Barbarian. I really think that the grapple checks really helped kind of diminish the strengths of the ogre, both literally and figuratively, of being able to grapple people, throw them around, and rustle them up. Whereas the barbarian is probably one of the only classes that can match an ogre in this and be able to then oppose them and really tie them up in combat.
Yeah. So I'm going to give my usual answer. This is the wrong question. We shouldn't be asking this. I think everybody did really good. Like, so with the rope trick, Betsy, using that to break the fall, that was awesome. And then Brandon, once again, he played a barbarian in our first episode. In this one, he was like this sneaky guy who was like going in and out. He was like wherever the monsters were, he wasn't. Like, I'm going to stay in the pit, shoot at people, or I'm going to climb out and shoot down at them. Like, that was pretty awesome too.
Yep. And then, like we said before, it really is difficult to just put it all on one person, because this was definitely a team effort. If everyone didn't kind of work together, there's no way they would have survived this encounter.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a long episode, 2-part episodes. So I don't know if we can get anything more out of this pit. I think we're done.
Yeah, I think the pit has run dry. So
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time
on the battlefield.